Ever notice how the most dangerous people in the room are usually the quietest? There's a reason for that. Every time you open your mouth, you're basically handing out weapons. Your words become data points. Your stories become leverage. And someone out there is collecting all of it. The game isn't about talking smarter, it's about talking less. Because the less ammunition you give, the harder you are to take down. What you're about to learn will change how you communicate forever. How talking too much turns you into an easy target. Let's cut through the noise. Your mouth is your biggest security leak, and you're probably broadcasting classified information every single day without realizing it. Think about the last conversation you had. How much did you reveal? Your plans, your frustrations, your fears, your next move. Congratulations, you just gave someone a complete blueprint of how to push your buttons. Here's what most people don't get. Manipulation isn't some dark art. It's pattern recognition, and you're making it ridiculously easy by laying out all your patterns in plain sight. Every time you overshare, you're essentially saying, here's exactly how to influence me, and trust me, people are listening. Not always with bad intentions, but they're listening. The psychology behind this is brutal. There's research from MIT showing that people who disclose personal information frequently are significantly more vulnerable to social engineering attacks. Why? Because predictability is a manipulator's best friend. When they know what makes you tick, what scares you, what excites you, they can craft messages that bypass your rational brain entirely. Think about social media for a second. You post about your vacation before you leave. You share your political views. You broadcast your relationship status. You document your daily routine. You're not connecting with people, you're creating a surveillance profile on yourself. And someone somewhere is taking notes. Maybe it's an algorithm. Maybe it's your coworker. Maybe it's someone you haven't even met yet. The uncomfortable truth. You've been trained to overshare. Society tells you that authentic means transparent. That being real means having no filter. That connection requires constant communication. It's all garbage. Real power comes from selective disclosure, from knowing what to keep in the vault. Watch powerful people closely. CEOs, politicians, master negotiators. Notice how they answer questions without really answering them. How they redirect. How they reveal just enough to satisfy curiosity, but never enough to compromise position. That's not evasiveness, it's survival. Because in a world where information is currency, they're not giving out free samples. You want to stop being manipulated? Start by stopping the information. Bleed. Every word you don't say is a door you don't open. Every detail you keep to yourself is a weapon someone can't use against you. What makes silence your strongest defense mechanism? Here's the thing nobody tells you. Silence isn't empty. It's full of power. While everyone else is running their mouth, competing for attention, proving their worth through words, the quiet ones are watching, learning, calculating, and winning. There's a concept in information security called the principle of least privilege. It means you only give access to what's absolutely necessary. No extra permissions, no bonus information, just the minimum required. Now apply that to your conversations. Why are you giving people admin access to your life when they only need guest privileges? Every time someone asks, "What are you working on?" or "How are you feeling?" or "What's going on with you?" you face a choice. Most people dump everything. They treat casual questions like therapy sessions. They hand over their mental state, their projects, their vulnerabilities, and then they wonder why things get complicated. Smart operators know something crucial. Questions are reconnaissance. Not always malicious, but reconnaissance nonetheless. Someone asking about your business isn't necessarily rooting for you. Someone wanting to know your relationship status isn't always a friend. They're gathering intelligence, and intelligence, once gathered, gets used. Research from the University of Chicago found that people drastically underestimate how much their casual disclosures influence others' perceptions and decisions about them. Translation: that harmless conversation you had last week is still shaping how someone sees you today, and you gave them all the material. But here's where it gets interesting. When you start talking less, something shifts. People get curious. They lean in. Your words carry more weight because they're scarce. You become harder to read, harder to predict, harder to manipulate. Scarcity creates value. Always has, always will. And the beautiful part, you're not being dishonest. You're just being strategic. There's a massive difference between lying and simply not volunteering information. You can be genuine without being an open book. You can connect without exposing everything. The people who control their information flow control their destiny. Everyone else is just reactive, constantly explaining, justifying, defending. When you master strategic silence, you stop playing defense entirely. How to build information walls that manipulators can't break through. Time to get tactical. You want to become manipulation-proof? Start treating your personal information like classified documents. Not everyone gets clearance. Not everyone needs to know. First practical action, implement the deflection protocol for the next week. When someone asks personal questions, practice redirecting. What are you up to this weekend? Becomes, still figuring it out, how about you? Notice how this flips the script. Suddenly they're talking, you're listening, and you're collecting information instead of giving it away. The power dynamic just shifted in your favor. Here's another power move. Stop explaining your decisions. When you say no to something, you don't owe anyone a dissertation on why. I can't make it is a complete sentence. But most people can't help themselves. They pile on reasons, justifications, apologies. Each one is a hook for someone to grab onto and pull. Cut the hooks. Give less to work with. There's a principle in counterintelligence called compartmentalization. Different people get different pieces of information, but nobody gets the full picture except you. Apply this to your life. Your coworkers don't need to know your personal struggles. Your friends don't need to know your career anxieties. Your family doesn't need to know your relationship doubts. Not because you're hiding things, but because different contexts require different levels of disclosure. And here's the psychological hack. When you talk less, people project more. They fill in the blanks with their own assumptions. You become whatever they need to see. That's not manipulation, that's allowing people to create their own narrative while you maintain operational security. Studies from Stanford's Persuasion lab show that people who maintain information boundaries are perceived as more confident and trustworthy. The paradox is real. The less you reveal, the more people trust you. Because oversharing signals insecurity. Measured disclosure signals self-control. The goal isn't isolation, it's calibration. You can still have deep connections, meaningful conversations, vulnerable moments, but with the right people, at the right time, in the right doses. Not as a default setting with everyone. Analyze, where in your life are you giving out too much information? What would change if you cut that in half? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this resonates, hit that like button and subscribe. Why your next move should be absolutely silent. Let's land this. The people who change the game don't announce it. They just do it. While everyone else is broadcasting their intentions, seeking validation, fishing for approval, the real players move in silence. And by the time anyone notices, it's already done. Second practical action. Adopt the 48-hour rule for any significant disclosure. Got a big opportunity? Keep it quiet for 2 days. Excited about a new project? Sit on it. Want to share a personal victory? Wait. This delay separates impulse from intention. Impulsive sharing is where you lose power. Intentional sharing is where you maintain it. Think about it. Every major move that actually matters in your life was probably better served by silence until execution. New job? Tell people after you start. New relationship? Let it develop before broadcasting. Major purchase? Make it first. Announce later, if at all. Because the moment you share your plans, you invite opinions, doubts, energy vampires, and people who subconsciously don't want you to level up. There's documented research showing that when people announce goals publicly, they get a premature sense of accomplishment that actually reduces follow-through. Your brain mistakes talking about the thing for doing the thing. Silence protects your momentum. It keeps the energy internal where it belongs. But here's the deeper game. Strategic silence makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is kryptonite for manipulation. People can't play you if they can't read you. They can't influence what they don't understand. You become a lock system instead of open source code. The world will pressure you constantly to share, post, update, explain, justify. Ignore it. The most powerful moves happen in darkness. The most significant growth happens privately. The real transformations occur when nobody's watching. Because external validation is a trap. It makes you dependent on others' reactions instead of your own judgment. So next time you feel that urge to tell everyone what you're doing, where you're going, what you're thinking, pause. Hold it. Keep the cards close. Let your results speak instead of your mouth. Because the best antivirus against manipulation isn't defensive, it's silent. Execute. What's one thing you're going to stop talking about starting today? Something you'll just do instead of discussing. Comment below, smash that like button if this hit different, and subscribe for more content that sharpens your edge. And share this with someone who needs to hear it.